In this week's episode of Elevate 88, Becoming Limitless, the 8 pillars of energy over 8 consecutive weeks to bring your awareness to elevate your reality, embody your inner authority, and regulate your systems. Sometimes we have to go through the shadows of the darkness to come out the other side to an elevated space in mind, body, and our reality. And that's what I leaped into. The fear to book a ticket to Tulum. Financially, it actually made more sense to book one-way ticket and to get an Airbnb for $30 a night than to continue for the next few weeks living in Vancouver, which is something that is scary, to take a leap of faith, to go into the unknown. And it led to everything I needed. It led me to align with the reality that I actually want to step into, the business I want to create, and to give myself permission to live in that authenticity, to be the leader I've always inspired to be. But to manifest that into our reality, we need to embody that energy. And man, I can feel that change within me. Taking a leap of faith on yourself to do the scary thing will lead you to such beautiful things. You become a different self, and that's when the universe shifts things for you. That's when your reality starts to make change. New connections that inspire you to grow. Yes, perhaps it brings forth the truths of our environments, our relationships, and what's needing to change. Because in the end, everything starts with you. Your reality is your responsibility to embrace that change of yourself in the beliefs you hold, the actions you take, the boundaries you set, the willingness to take that leap of faith in yourself and to book that ticket, even if it makes no sense. So that's what I did. I flew to Mexico with no idea why I was feeling a call to go there, trusting in the universe and trusting in myself. And it led me to embody a completely different me. So let's talk about the sub-pillars of addressing our environment that I have noticed time and time again over the decades that can truly help you understand what is blocking you or limiting you for the change you're looking for in your life and of yourself. And the sub-pillars to bring your awareness to when addressing your environment. Number 1, boundaries. Number 2, removal. And number 3, new energy. Pillar number 1, boundaries. Addressing our environment also goes with relationships. So, addressing our environment is so important, and you hear it all the time, that your environment is vital. Because everything is energy, your environment holds that as well. And what I think the mind likes to hold on to a lot of the time is that it once brought us to an elevated space. But what I've come to know is that, yes, what once excited you in your career, your city you live in, the relationship itself perhaps, in these environments that once brought us to an elevated space of our mindset, of joy, of connection, perhaps it shifted over time. And that's for us to face the truth that perhaps we need to set boundaries. Perhaps we need to explore what's new. Perhaps this was an element that, yes, we can come back to, or perhaps we have grown, we've shifted, we're feeling called to do something that's new, that's unknown. What once excited you perhaps had its purpose. What once excited you, maybe it's something you were meant to come back to. Everything happens for a reason, but we need to follow the call when something isn't feeling right in our nervous system, in our finances, in our environments itself, in our connections. When we're manifesting a lot of struggle, that's the thing we need to question. Looking at these 8 pillars in general will help to bring awareness to that. But sometimes it's about addressing your environment, and that comes with boundaries. Boundaries of yourself, of how you show up in your environments, what you allow into your life. Is it the city that you need to change? Is it the career that's stressing you out? What are the boundaries I can set in my relationships to bring my nervous system to a regulated space? Boundaries go with everything with energy. Boundaries are about self-love. We've grown up in a society that isn't too fond of boundaries. People see it as rude. And that was me for most of my life. But what I can honestly say is that boundaries help support your energy. Setting boundaries that feel right to you in your connections, in your environments, in your careers are going to help you to understand maybe what needs to shift in your life. What is the thing that is bringing you to a space of your nervous system, of your mind, your perception on life, and the actions you're taking that are holding an effect on you? From stepping into the embodiment of a higher self, from pursuing your dream, from overcoming the limiting beliefs. For most of my life, I was not someone who partook in boundaries. So start with where you are, test the waters, and see what comes about. But in a humble, empathetic way, we all need to set boundaries in life. Not to protect our energy, but to support ourselves, to get us to a better space. It's not about placing blame on our circumstances, on the people, on the environment itself. It's about understanding that boundaries are for you to support yourself and get you to a better space. Pillar number 2, removal. This is about actually leaving the environment, either for a prolonged period of time or in general, whether that is the career, the city, the home itself, perhaps a relationship, and going no contact. When we remove ourselves from a certain energy, it helps to bring light to what is actually affecting us sometimes. When I would be in no contact in my relationships, it helps me to understand that I was anxious around certain people. And that's not to place blame on people, but that was for me to understand that I was triggered into something and I need to face the reality as to the reasons why. Because I am responsible for my reality, my relationships, and how I feel. In removing myself from certain cities, I recognize a shift in my perception. That energy holds an effect, and you feel excited to pursue different things. And we hear people say it all the time. I don't need therapy. I just need a vacation. And I think that's the reality we often don't want to face. That we travel somewhere, we feel good, and then we come home, and then we feel depressed. We feel anxious. We feel a lot of the same. But that's the thing we need to face. And something I've learned is that home is not a place. It is a feeling of wholeness within yourself. When I go places now, I don't want to call it a vacation. I don't want to call it a holiday. I want to just be in a state that wherever I am, that is home to me. And that is what it means to recognize how an environment makes you feel. If it feels like home, then you're home. If it doesn't, that's the truth we have to look into. I was never someone to leave situations, relationships, careers, environments, but this only brought me into more struggle in life. This manifested a lot of pain in my mental state, my physical ailments, and everything in between. I wasn't willing to face the fact that maybe, yes, I needed to shift my environments and relationships in a way. I needed to set boundaries. I needed to pursue growth in my own unique way. But it's in this, I had to go alone, and that's the scariest part. So many of us, me myself, grow up in connections. We grow up in the same places, and it's so hard to pursue alone. But this was everything I needed, because to embody a different self, we need to understand that we are limitless on our own. And in this, you gain this awareness that the universe has got your back, but we need to be willing to trust in ourselves. To hold belief and trust in ourselves is to trust in the universe, because we're one and the same. So communicate to who you need to, that you're trying to get to a better space. Take a break from your careers or environments or the city itself that maybe is not feeling so good to you, and see what comes about and how you feel. Anyone who truly cares about you, yes, may not like you setting these boundaries or leaving a relationship or situation for a period of time, but people that really care about you will know that you're trying to get to a better space. And that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful connection, and that's something to be so grateful for. I've been so fortunate over the years to have connected with so many beautiful people, such amazing friends, beautiful communities, and I'm so grateful. It doesn't always mean that the relationships stay the same, that we stay in them in general, Sometimes boundaries come about. Sometimes we choose to leave. Sometimes they leave us. But in the end, it's something to be grateful for when you have people in your life who just want you to get to a better space. And I have so much love and respect for these amazing people I've come across in my lifetime. But in the end, we have to choose what feels good to us. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is embrace the change of ourselves. But anyone who doesn't see that or support that for you, that is a hard truth that we often have to face. Boundaries and removing ourselves from environments and connections is what brings forth truth. And that is the hard thing. Once we see something, we can't unsee it. And that's what our ego tries to protect us from, because it will bring pain. It will lead us to heal and to grieve. Pillar number 3, new energy. Exploration. In general, it's about taking that leap of faith on yourself and what's calling to you. All the new things, the new places, the new hobbies, the new connections, all of it of what intrigues you. To explore new energy in different environments and new connections to see what feels good for you, what excites you, what is intriguing you, what is inspiring you to grow, to embrace your authentic soul, to shine bright and not dim your light. This is exploration. So I dare you, take that leap of faith on yourself. Explore that unknown thing that calls to you. Get uncomfortable to question the elements of your environment that do not feel good to you, that trigger you, that no longer feel expansive. Choose to explore, to grow, to step into your most abundant and authentic you. Energy is everything, and your environment is a key part of that. Now, looking into the vlog, I had a layover in Houston, and I read my ticket wrong. I thought I was arriving that same evening, but I had to sleep in the airport. I was alone. I got to dance and have fun with myself. In taking a leap of faith, I really jumped in. I literally booked the flight 2 days before I left. But this is what it means to live in a state of gratitude, to live in a state of limitlessness. Things can surprise you and challenge you in life, but when you can shift your perspective, it no longer phases you. And I never used to be this person. But literally just landing in Houston, I felt quite aligned there. The magazines themselves were talking about alignment in business and everything I was looking to bring forth on this trip. And this is what it means to be in alignment in life. Taking that leap of faith to try different environments, experience new energy. And it can feel sometimes like you've shifted timelines, like you've stepped into a new reality. And that's as simple as it can be. Just going somewhere new to awaken something within you and your experience in life.
Hello, hello. We're in Houston. I misread my flights. It's actually, so I just landed in Houston. I thought I was flying out this evening at 9. It's actually 9:30 tomorrow morning. So, it's 7 p.m. currently on Monday. I'm flying out tomorrow morning, Tuesday. So, divine timing. Also, I did this so last minute. I just took a leap of faith and followed my feeling that I've been avoiding for months. So, things happen for a reason. But, anywho, so we're gonna go explore. We're gonna go see if I could find a gym perhaps. I'm doing a 24-hour fast because I had a very transformative time on the plane, which I'm gonna get into. I was trying to raw dog it, but I have a new thing now, and it's called the Mindful Sky Club. And yeah, so I guess that's what we're gonna get into. And oh yes, and also my headphones, the other side broke, which is absolutely hilarious. And this happened to me the last time I kind of went through a very big transformation, took a leap of faith to kind of travel from where I've lived all my life and just move across country and book a one-way ticket. Literally my left earbuds broke. So I'm not sure what that means, but the synchronicity is hilarious. So I'm just trusting that I'm following flow, I'm in alignment, and I'm doing what my intuition's telling me to do, pursuing the things I want to bring forth into life. So I'm pretty excited about that. Okay, chat soon.
Now, I debated going into town to get a night's stay, but I literally came here on a whim. I've been trying to save money to pay off old debts, so I just decided to adventure into the airport alone. Also, the hilarious manifestation of my headbuds. I literally was offered a free headset on the flight, and my intuition said take it, and I didn't want it because I had those earphones. So I just said, okay, sure. And I took them. And literally the second I got off the plane, the left earbud literally broke off. The wire ripped. And I was like, wow, this is what it means sometimes when we talk about manifesting. It's also about getting in touch with your intuition because it will often guide you to do things, guide you to certain places, tell you what to do sometimes of things that we cannot perceive are about to happen. The mind likes to tell us what we currently know, what we think we know. But the higher self, the soul, always knows what's best. Also, 2 weeks later, on my trip in Tulum, the left side of that headset broke. Does anyone know what this synchronicity means?
Hello. So, I'm at the airport. I manifested. Nobody. Yes. So, I read the times wrong. My fault. I took a leap of faith. I booked this on a whim. I was really, just kind of booked it. And I didn't actually read the exact time correctly. I thought I would arrive in Houston from Vancouver at 7, and the next flight was at 9:30 p.m. It's 9:30 a.m. the next day. And I was really debating going in the city, but, financially at the moment, I got debts to pay. I literally booked this trip because it was more cost effective for me to take 2 weeks to do this content, to really step into what I'm being called to do, to sort out the items in my life, because my current environment, it's just not working for me. It's leading me into fight or flight. It's not providing me the space, the time that I need. And, this is a part of it. Me booking this trip is really not about going to have a good time and have fun. Yes, I really would hope to do that as well. I want to enjoy the journey. But, man, I just want to grow. That's all I do. And this has kind of led to everything, to be the example, to basically share with you my story, time and time again, to let go of the past, but also just to understand and be the example that we can always rise from where we feel limited in life. And that's something I've done for 30 years. And embarking on this, path of self-discovery and becoming aware of consciousness and, stepping into alignment into what feels like my purpose, and just becoming a completely different self, becoming aware of different elements of the universe and how we actually, interact with our reality in those details. It's been a unique journey, but in that sense as well, I was discovering alignment, and I was letting go of old patterns, and that's really what I built, and that's what I'm feeling called to share and to do, because it brought me back into this state of fight or flight, of being triggered, of old patterns I couldn't perceive. And that's the goal, is that we are limitless, and I'm being called to be the example for that. Because, yes, it's nice to talk about a past and do those things. Sometimes you just need to get out of your own way, get on the screen, and just kind of, show up as you are, to become a different self, to step into that embodiment, to let go of the things that are restricting you. So, 'tis why I'm here. But, yes, interesting. I'm, feeling really light and excited about the future. I'm very nervous because it's unknown, and getting vulnerable on my spiritual journey. We're human, but the last time I did something like this, I quantum leaped, and it was the scariest thing I did. I completely ended the life I knew, the self I'd come to know for 30 years. Felt like, they died. I said goodbye to all the relationships I knew. I really just, everything ended in my life. I've been a walking tower moment my entire life, but that completely kind of shifted me into this awakening of awareness. And, the second time I went into kind of a quantum leap of things, I lost everything and everyone once again. And I mean, I don't really believe in the sense of fear, but I think that would, trigger anyone to think twice, to quantum leap and having to lose everything and everyone, not just once, but twice. But this time felt different. This time felt aligned. This time I was more aware of what I was being called to do. I became aware of more of the patterns. I healed, those generational traumas, and that's not to fall victim to that. But I can tell you over the last few months, I've been very aware of what is not me, very aware of these perceptions, these patterns, these habits, and the things I've been feeling, and it's not something I've experienced in this time in my life. So I do, to a sense, believe in generational traumas, but regardless, that doesn't really matter.
Because in the end, it's my responsibility to heal, to grow, to make the change. Okay, I'm headed to sleep. See you soon. Bye.